Sports presentation.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, KCAL 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you. Welcome to Game 2 of the three-game series. Tough act to follow. The Times had it right in their headline today, a jewel of a duel. That was Bumgarner versus Kershaw. Tonight, it'll be Tim Lincecum going for the Giants with a record of 6-13. Joe Blanton on the hill for the Dodgers. He is 8-11. Blanton 0-1 this year against the Giants when he pitched for Philadelphia. The interesting thing about Tim Lincecum, not just the fact he's 1-1 this year against the Dodgers, but lifetime he is 6-5. But don't forget last year, in 4 games going head-to-head with Clayton Kershaw, Lincecum lost by the scores of 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and 1-0. So keep that in mind. Pull up a chair. We have a good one on the way right after this. California Toyota dealers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Tuesday evening to you, wherever you may be. It's enough said. It's the Giants and the Dodgers. So pull up a chair. We figure to have a good one tonight on the heels of that masterpiece last night where it was Madison Bumgarner going up against Clayton Kershaw. Tonight, Joe Blanton, and it's going up against Tim Lincecum. The Dodgers trying to get well at home, and they're hurting here. They've lost 10 out of 15. However, they have split 10 with the Giants. They have split the 4 here at Dodger Stadium, and they have split the 6 games that were played up in San Francisco. For the Giants, trying to not only get into first place, they accomplished that last night, but tonight they're trying to solidify their position. And for Bruce Bochy, his ball club is doing better within the Western Division than the Dodgers, and that's really the difference between the two teams right now. In the Western Division, the Giants are 8 games above 500. The Dodgers in the Western Division are break even. So that's an 8-game advantage within the division, and if the Dodgers plan to make more noise, they're going to have to get well against the West. Here's the Giant lineup. Angel Pagan leading off in center field, Marco Scutaro at second base, and Pablo Sandoval at third base. Buster Posey in the cleanup spot at first base. Hunter Pence will be in right field. Hector Sanchez behind the plate. Gregor Blanco is in left field batting 7th. Brandon Crawford, the shortstop, and Tim Lincecum on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Joe Blanton, big right-hander at 6'3", checks in around 250 pounds. Blanton lives in Brownsville, Kentucky, small town. He left Nashville, Tennessee, but he went to school at the University of Kentucky. Blanton coming over to the Dodgers and is a fine pitcher who pitched very well but wound up losing to the Giants when he was pitching for Philadelphia. He is, among other things, one of the better control pitchers in the league. All you have to do is look at his numbers. He has 127 strikeouts and only 25 walks. So he is second in the major leagues. That's a little better than a 5-to-1 ratio. So Blanton trying to get the Dodgers back into first place. But again, you realize what's been going on between the Giants and the Dodgers. They have been tied for first place 6 different times. They have changed the lead, as they did last night, 5 times. And they have changed the lead, first place in the West, 4 times in the last 6 days. The Giants' biggest lead all year at first place. They led by 3, and the Dodgers' biggest lead, 1. So Angel Pagan will be followed by Marco Scutaro and then Pablo Sandoval. And for Don Mattingly, he is hoping to get off on the right foot because the Giants do very well, especially if they get on the board first. Angel Pagan batting .283, 7 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Blanton ready, and here we go. And the first pitch in for a strike. So Blanton, who figures to throw a lot of strikes, gets out in front immediately of Angel Pagan. Pagan switch hitter with a lot of speed. Blanton comes right back. This time works it low and away. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Angel Pagan has been very busy. It was no news that he scored twice last night. He has scored 19 runs in the month of August and shells one up the middle for a base hit. So a leadoff single last night. Pagan led off with a double. Now a leadoff single on the batter, Marco Scutaro. Now last night, Bruce Bochy had the idea that runs would be at a premium. So he had Scutaro sacrifice in the very first inning. And that led to a long fly ball and a run scored. So let's see whether they have Scutaro bunting again with Pagan at first base. One other note about Pagan, with Sandoval waiting on deck. Pagan has stolen 19 out of 25. Blanton throws over there, and Angel back to the bag. We were talking in contrast between the two teams. Since the All-Star break, to give you an idea, the Giants have won 4 series, lost none, and split 1. The pitch of the plate, and that's going to be hit into right center for a base hit. Pagan slowed down and then keeps on going with a head-first slide into third. I'm not sure if he's misjudged the depth of the ball, but he slowed down and then picked up. So Pagan opens up with a single to center. Scutero, a fly ball single to right, and immediately Blanton in a lot of trouble. Dodgers at first and third, nobody out. The Giants on the road since the All-Star break are 12-5. And what's got to be bothering the Dodgers, suddenly they've lost the knack of winning at home. They've actually lost 10 of the last 15. So they are 6-10 over a stretch that sees them in trouble here in the first inning tonight. Pablo Sandoval, and his power is from the left side. Pablo takes low, ball 1. Last night he had a sacrifice fly in the first inning and singled in the other run. So he scored Pagan twice, and he has the chance of getting Angel home again tonight. Blanton set at the belt, checks the runners and delivers in the dirt. Nice block by A.J. Ellis, and a 2-ball no-strike count to Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval has the count his way, but interestingly enough, he does his best hitting when he's behind in the count. So 2 balls and no strikes to Pablo Sandoval. Blanton right at the edge of the first base side of the rubber, and the 2-0 pitch, and Sandoval takes very high, ball 3, 3-0. Sandoval, with all of his power and everything else, has only walked 21 times and has only struck out 39 times. 3-0 the count. Here comes Blanton. The fastball is outside, ball 4, and the Giants have the bases loaded and nobody out. That'll bring up Posey, followed by Pence, followed by Sanchez. So Blanton gave up the ground ball single to center, the fly ball single to right center, and now a walk. So he is up to his hips in crocodiles here. Bases loaded, nobody out, with Posey, Pence, and Sanchez. Buster Posey getting a rest, as they say, by getting out from behind home plate and playing first base. Hitting .327. He has Pagan at third, Scutero at second, and Sandoval at first. Posey with 19 home runs, 77 runs batted in, and takes ball 1. 1-0. Posey, since the All-Star break, came in here hitting .424 and gave up 14 points last night when he went 0 for 4, striking out 3 times. The 1-0 pitch on the way, fastball swung on and missed. 1-1 the count to Buster Posey. Talking about Posey supposedly getting a rest by playing first base, he doesn't usually catch Lincecum anyway. He has only caught Tim Lincecum twice in Tim's last 11 starts. 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, a soft line drive into left center for a base hit. Pagan scores, Scutero scores, Sandoval stops at second, and the Giants lead 2-0, and Blanton hasn't gotten anybody out.
Coming to the plate, right fielder, number 8,
So it's 2-0 Giants before the chairs are warm. By the way, that was an interesting thing for Posey to get a base hit. Posey, with the bases loaded, becomes the second Giant to get a base hit with the bases loaded. Gregor Blanco had done it with 2 out and the bases loaded. And for Posey, he does it with nobody out, which is a lot easier. And here's Hunter Pence. Blanton ready and delivers and drives him off the plate, ball 1. Well, they watch players so closely this day and age. To give you an idea, the highest number of home runs that Pence has hit, 18, 5 of them are hit on Tuesday. So Hunter waiting, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. He backs off and takes a strike. Pence also has collected 21 hits. That would be his high on Tuesday. So we'll see what he does here. He's in a golden spot. Runners at first and second, 2 in. Boshi trying to get a bunch. And the 1-1 pitch to Hunter Pence, swung on and missed. Pence, since July 4th, has really gone south, hitting .262, but since the 4th of July, he's hitting less than .150. Last night, he had another 0 for 4. Hunter waiting, 1-2. Blanton ready and delivers. Pence swings, lifts it into right field, deep enough for Ethier to go back. Tagging up is Sandoval, and Sandoval will cruise over to third on the fly ball to right. So Pence at least advances a runner, and with 2 runs in the bank, the Giants have first and third. Pence moves a man along, and the batter now is Hector Sanchez. Hector Sanchez, a good switch hitting catcher, and he's hitting .280 from the left side. He has a total of 2 home runs, 26 runs batted in. He has a home run and 14 RBIs, hitting left-handed, and an overall batting average of .275. So Sanchez checking in, first and third, 2 runs on the board for the Giants, and with 1 out, of course, they're looking for more. Sanchez waiting, has a look at a pitch in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Hector taking a look down to third where Tim Flannery hangs out. First and third, Sandoval and Posey. 1-0 pitch on the way, and that swung on. Ground ball to Loney, down to short for 1. Back to first, double play, and the inning is over. So I guess all things considered, 3 singles and a walk without any outs, and the Giants got away with 2, and the Dodgers got away cheaply, 2-0 San Francisco. Joe Blanton, and the Dodgers now trying to come back against Tim Lincecum. Dodger lineup with Shane Victorino leading off in left field. Adam Kennedy returns to a starting lineup at second base. Matt Kemp in center field. Andre Ethier hitting cleanup in right. Hanley Ramirez the shortstop. James Loney returns to a starting role at first. Luis Cruz at third. A.J. Ellis behind the plate. Joe Blanton on the mound. On the mound for the Giants, Tim Lincecum, 6 feet, about 167 pounds. He is 28 years old out of Bellevue, Washington. He's been a big puzzle this year. After all, a 2-time Cy Young Award winner, comes in with an earned run average of almost 5.5 and a record of 6-13. He still can strike out hitters. He has 147 strikeouts. And he has a 2-run cushion to begin the night. Lincecum, since the All-Star break, has pitched reasonably well. 3-3. But he's had a lot of problems this year. He's been very wild, putting a lot of runners on base. And his first pitch down and away. Ball 1 to Victorino. To just pinpoint one little area for Tim Lincecum, he has 14 wild pitches. The 1-0 pitch, fastball in there, and they count 1-1. So 2 runs, 3 hits for the Giants, with Victorino, Kennedy, and Kemp now trying to come back. 75 degrees at the start of the game. 1-1 pitch, swung on, lifted back a third, down the line, slicing foul, and back into the stand. The 1-2 the count to Shane Victorino, hitting .259. Victorino with 10 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Went 0 for 4 last night, was caught stealing, but then stole second and third later in the game. So Victorino, trying to get something started, has stolen 29 out of 35. Switch hitter, batting left-handed, and here comes a fastball a little low. 2-2 the count. He's still got the velocity. That pitch was 94. But again, he has not been able to put the ball exactly where he used to put it without even thinking. 2-2 the count. Lincecum ready. Back he comes over the top. Fastball swung on and missed. That was 93, up and away. So down goes Victorino. 1 out here in the first inning. So Timmy just let it fly, and they had a lot of movement to it. It just sailed away. So 1 down. Now the left-hand hitting Adam Kennedy coming up. Kennedy hitting .255. He has a home run and 15 runs batted in. Adam waiting, and the first pitch to him, breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. When you talk about a veteran, Kennedy is certainly a veteran. When you talk about second baseman, he's played 1,345 games at second base. 1-1 the count to Adam Kennedy. On deck, Matt Kemp. Lincecum right back with a pitch swung on and missed. It was a fastball up. Kennedy with that uppercut swing, and the count 1-2. So Lincecum trying to come back, trying to recapture the magic that gave him 2 Cy Young awards, and then suddenly went glittering away for the most part of this year. 1-2 pitch on the way is line foul outside of third. So Kennedy making a rare start and going up against a guy who throws hard, Tim Lincecum. Tim works like Blanton from the first base side of the rubber, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, on the hands, fouled off, and still 1-2. The Giants doing very well on the road. In fact, they haven't lost a series on the road since the first week in July. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kennedy. 1 out, first inning. Giants lead 2-0. Lincecum right back with a fastball away. 2-2. Those who watched him all the time over the last few years say that in the past he can almost close his eyes and spot his fastball. Now he struggles to spot it. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, little ground ball on the right side. Scutaro is up with it, and we have 2 down in the first inning, and Matt Kemp coming up. Matt Kemp, if you've been following the Dodgers, know that the big guy's been struggling. He is 0 for 19, and in checking Matt Kemp, he is 9 for 37. That would be a .243 batting average against Lincecum. The Dodgers, who have hit home runs against Lincecum this year, Hanley Ramirez has 1. Victorino has 1. Ethier has 2. Ethier is on deck. Tim ready and delivers. Fastball foul back to the screen, and the count 0-1. For the Giants to get 2 in the first inning, they are certainly off on the right foot. When they score first in a game this year, They are 46 and 16. Here's the strike one pitch. Kemp pulls away. It's in at the kneecaps. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Giants. Dodgers with 2 out, bottom of the first inning. 1-1 the count. Lincecum ready. Tim comes back, and it is swung on and missed. At 85, a late jump on it. 1-2 the count. Keeping it away and down from Kemp. So Matt back up and waiting. Lincecum ready, and his 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball hit to right field. Pence going back to his left and makes the catch for the out. So the Dodgers go quietly, 1-2-3, and at the end of an inning, Giants 2, Dodgers nothing. And hitting left-handed, takes a strike, 0-1. Tried to bunt last night, you may remember, and that was the bunt where Clayton Kershaw made a great diving catch. Full swing and a miss, though he's in a hole now. No balls and 2 strikes to Gregor Blanco, who is really struggling. He's hitting .234, but for over 3 weeks, he's been hitting .130. Here's the strike 2 pitch. Blanco takes strike 3 called, and he's done. So Blanco strikes out. He struck out twice last night, so he struck out his last 3 at-bats here. Blanton picks up the K. Take another look at a fastball down the middle, and now the batter is Brandon Crawford. Brandon Crawford, pretty good eye at the plate, but at the same time, very aggressive. He has 4 home runs, 38 runs batted in, and hitting .246. The left-hand hitting shortstop came in late last night to finish up, but did not bat against Clayton Kershaw. He's tied up on the first pitch, and the count 0-1. Crawford, over his last 10 games, has hit better than .400. The Crawford waiting. Here comes Blanton's strike 1 pitch, and that's fouled off, and the count 0-2. For Crawford, he's one of those fellas, every time you look up, it seems he's at bat with the bases loaded. He's come up 15 times with the bases loaded, and he has a total for the year 38 runs batted in. Fouls the next pitch away, and the count's 0-2. Being an aggressive hitter, Crawford does not walk very often. He has struck out 3 times as much as he has walked. The strike 2 pitch on the way. He has a look at strike 3 called, and he's done. So Blanton, trying to recover a shaky first inning, has struck out 2. Say, a reminder, bring the kids to Dodger Stadium Sunday at 1:10. First 15,000 ticketed kids 14 and under receive their own Dodger backpack, compliments of Northrop Grumman. The pitch to Lincecum high, ball 1. So for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. 2 outs, second inning. Blanton now behind 2-0 to Tim Lincecum. Tim is hitting less than 100. He does have 3 hits. Takes very high, ball 3, 3-0. Those who know him very well say that Timmy is inclined to be a bit reclusive. Not in the clubhouse with the rest of the team as he takes a strike, but otherwise very quiet, pretty much off by himself. 3-1 pitch is swung on and fouled away, and the count 3-2. Of course, when he first came up, everybody talked about what an athlete he was. Early in his playing days, he came into the Giant clubhouse and did an Ozzie Smith flip. He hits one to third hard. Cruz stays with it, throws him out. So the Giants go 1-2-3, and at the end of an inning and a half, Giants 2, Dodgers nothing. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, before the first pitch, we had a chance to honor one of our favorite people, Don Newcomb, who pitched for the Dodgers for 9 seasons. He was a Rookie of the Year, a Cy Young Award winner, and an MVP. Don, among other things, was in Atlanta recently, honored by the civil rights group in Georgia, giving the Medal of Hope, and he wears it proudly, as well he should, and he was showing it off to the crowd. Now we go to the bottom of the second. Andre Ethier, Hanley Ramirez, and then James Loney. One of the things that a wonderful statistician, Aaron Charlton, did a little work on Andre Ethier. The fact that last night, when the going was really tough, 2 out, 2-1 game, they brought in Javi Lopez, a left-hander, to pitch to Ethier. He takes ball 1. And so Aaron looked up how many times this year has a left-handed reliever been brought in where the score is tied, or the tying run is on base, or the tying run is in the batter's box. Ethier takes ball 2. 23 times this year they have brought in a left-hander to try and get Ethier. He is hitting .238 over that 23 time stretch, and since June hitting only .154. Andre swings, doesn't get it, 2-1. Of course, when he does see a left-hander, it's one of the top left-handed relievers in the game, and the best left-handed reliever so far against left-hand batters. They brought him in last night, and Lopez got Ethier to ground out. 2-1 to count. Here comes Lincecum, fastball foul back. He's still right there in that 93-94 mile-an-hour zone. And Ethier hitting .278, 12 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Ethier is hitting .316 in the past with 2 home runs against Lincecum. He takes just inside under the hands, so Lincecum goes all the way. We mentioned earlier that even though he is still a strikeout pitcher, he has been very wild, walking a lot of hitters. 3-2 to Ethier. Waiting on deck, Hanley Ramirez. Fastball hit to the hole, backhanded it short by Crawford. Throw to first in time. Nice stretch by Buster Posey over there. So Ethier losing a base hit, and we have one away in the second inning. Good play by Brandon Crawford, setting on the grass, and just did nip Ethier. Again, Posey making a good stretch to go out and get the throw. So one away, and Hanley Ramirez coming up. Ramirez last night was 0 for 3 until he came to the plate in the 9th inning. He had beaten Sergio Romo in San Francisco with a 10th inning home run, and he faced Romo last night and hit a 9th inning home run, but the Dodgers were a buck short. Hanley with 19 home runs, big swing and a foul ball, and the count 0-1. Ramirez hitting .260, has 76 runs batted in. He is hitting .222 against Lincecum, 2 for 9 with a home run. 0-1 to count to Hanley Ramirez. Lincecum back, and it's popped in the air back at first down the line. Posey coming over. Scudero comes over to help out. Makes a one-hand catch for the out. So Ramirez pops out to Marcos Scudero, and with 2 out, the batter is James Loney. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Giants, nothing across for the Dodgers here in the second inning. James Loney started the double play on the ball hit by Hector Sanchez in the first inning. James hitting .255, 4 home runs, 33 runs batted in. Loney hitting very well here at home, hitting .277 at Dodger Stadium. Takes the first pitch off the plate, ball 1, 1-0. On the recent road trip, Loney hit just under 300. He had 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, played in 9 games. 1-0 the count to James. Lincecum comes back, fastball is high, ball 2, 2-0. Tim Lincecum, as a little boy, the scouts really had no thought of signing him because he was indeed a little boy. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, little ground ball to the right side. Easy play, easy out, and down go the Dodgers. Lincecum has now retired 6 in a row, and at the end of 2, Giants 2, Dodgers nothing.
Leading off the third inning, center fielder, Angel Pagan.
Giants lead the Dodgers 2-0 at the expense of Joe Blanton in the first inning. Blanton then came back to pitch strong in the second, and now it's the second time around. Angel Pagan takes high, ball one. Pagan not only steals bases, and he led off to score in the first inning. He has now scored 20 runs in the leadoff role this month. The 1-0 pitch on the way, he shows bunt, takes a strike. He can motor down the line. Angel has 21 infield hits. A little dangerous on the base paths. He's been picked off 5 times, but he's also stolen 19 out of 25. Hitting .285, 7 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Blanton delivers a little roller up along first. Loney is there to make a swipe. Missed him, and Pagan is safe at first. Pagan went head first, and Loney's sweep tag went right over him as Pagan went underneath the glove. So a little roller up along first, fielded by Loney, tried to get him and couldn't do it. So Pagan, a squib single up along first base. So Angel Pagan 2 for 2, and he now has 4 hits in the 2 games. So again, Blanton will be pitching with one eye on Pagan. And here's Marco Scutaro, who singled to right field in the first inning, hitting .284, 6 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Scutaro, right-hand batter. Blanton sat looking over his left shoulder, and now Scutaro backs out. Pagan, 19 out of 25 on a club that has stolen 91 bases. Dodgers have stolen 81. A throw to first. Pagan diving back to the bag. Giants got 2 in the first inning. They had singles by Pagan and Scutaro. Sandoval walked, and Posey singled in 2. Might have had more, but Sanchez, the catcher, hit into a double play. Blanton ready, and the pitch in for a strike. Scutaro, who bunted early last night, showed bunt but took a strike. 0-1 the count to Marco. Again, Pagan inching off the bag, held on by Loney. Giants lead 2-0, top of the third. Blanton at the belt. There goes Pagan. The pitch is high. The throw is in time to get him. That was a good pitch to handle for A.J. Ellis. The pitch was high, so A.J. didn't have to waste any motion. He just came up and fired, and Kennedy at the other end of the throw made the tag easily. So Pagan is erased 2-4, and we have an out here in the third inning. Now the 1-1 pitch. Scutaro punches it by a diving Loney into right field. So an expensive caught stealing for the Giants as Scutaro follows with his second hit.
Coming to the plate, third baseman, Pablo.
Because either way you cut it, it's still rather distressing for Joe Blanton. He's only in the third inning, and he's allowed 5 hits, 2 runs. Now Pablo Sandoval, who has 8 home runs, 7 of them as a left-handed batter. Sandoval has 38 runs batted in. This is his 70th game. And the first pitch, big swing, an aggressive swing and a miss. Sandoval will swing at the first pitch about 45% of the time. And if it's anywhere around the plate, he will swing. However, as we told you earlier, he is at his most dangerous when he's behind in the count. He's hitting .429 on an 0-1 count. The next pitch is swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. Well, when the count is 0-2, he's still hitting .294. The average in the National League, when the hitters the count 0-2, the average is 141, and here he is hitting .294. He's a remarkable hitter. 0-2 the count to Pablo. Out of a stretch goes Blanton, ready and delivers, and it's in the dirt. Nice block by Ellis. He's lost it, and by the time he picks it up, Scutaro is into second base. A.J. Ellis blocked the ball but had no idea where it was. And by the time he found it, stolen base for Scutaro? No, he goes on a wild pitch. So the pitch in the dirt. Down to second is Marco. And Sandoval, who walked in the first inning, tried to pick him up. 2-0 Giants with a runner in scoring position and one out in the third. Blanton ready, looks back at Scutaro. Fastball fouled away, and the count remains 1-2. Another interesting thing about Sandoval with the bat, he rarely is called out on strikes. Maybe 8% of all of his strikeouts is where the umpire calls strike three. He is that aggressive. Pablo waiting, hitting left-handed. And the 1-2 pitch swung on, hit to dead center. Reaching up to get it is Matt Kemp. Scutaro holding on at second base. So Sandoval hit it hard, and it just started to take off. Matt, with good reflexes, able to reach up and nail it. So 2 down, and the batter will be Buster Posey. For those watching on television, you'll see Kemp having to react. Makes a good play. 2 down. Now the batter Posey single to left field in the first inning. Buster hitting .328, 19 home runs, 79 runs batted in, and they're going to walk him intentionally and go after the slumping Hunter Pence. So Hunter Pence flied to right field in the first inning, and for Hunter, you can bet he has been pressing to be hitting less than 150 since July 4th. That's a long time. So Hunter will be ready in a moment. You'll notice, those watching on television, that Hunter Pence, one of the rare hitters in this day and age, who has the power to hit 18 home runs, who still chokes up on the bat. So Pence, rangy right-hand batter, hitting .261. We told you he's been trouble on Tuesdays. 21 of his hits and 5 of his home runs on Tuesday. He's also trouble on Wednesday, so we'll see him tomorrow night. All right, Hunter checks in. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Giants. Check swing, it'll cost a strike, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Scutaro at second, Posey at first with 2 out. Blanton trying to get out of a jam. Fastball grounded wide to third to Cruz. He'll go to second with a force, and that's that. Pence unable to drive anybody in, and the Dodgers, despite 2 hits and a walk, get out unscathed. And at the end of 2.5, 2-0 Giants. Twice tonight, Hunter Pence has come up with 2 men on base, and each time he has failed to deliver. So the Giants have lost big opportunities to add to what is a 2-0 lead as they go to the bottom of the third. For the Dodgers, it'll be Luis Cruz, A.J. Ellis, and then Joe Blanton. Tim Lincecum has retired 6 in a row, striking out 1. Tim 6-13, 1-1 against the Dodgers, and his first pitch to Cruz, a high strike, 0-1. Luis on Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead night, so he was the catcher when Fernando threw out the ceremonial first pitch. Next pitch very high, 1 ball and 1 strike. For Luis Cruz, I'm sure catching Fernando, even in the ceremonial moment, had to be a big thrill. His father, a Mexican star in the Mexican League, teammate of Fernando, and Luis met Fernando when he was just about 4 years old. He swings and misses, and a 1-2 count. Tim Lincecum. When he was a high school freshman, he was 4 feet 11 and he weighed 85 pounds. Fastball foul back. Started to grow a bit, but with that small size, scouts really looked the other way. His father began to teach him the mechanics of pitching when he was 4 years old, and actually started to teach him to throw a curveball when he's 8. Next pitch foul back. That is contrary to all the rules we have ever heard. You never teach a child to throw a curveball, any kind of a breaking ball, until his bones are fully developed. You have an 8-year-old throwing curveballs, you're almost guaranteed to have a bad arm, but it didn't happen with Tim. The next pitch inside, 2-2 the count. Tim has an older brother who was a good kid athlete, played at 5 different levels of the World Series, starting with the Little League. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Cruz, foul back to the screen again. So Luis up against Lincecum, 2-0 Giants, bottom of the third. Lincecum staring down, getting a sign from Hector Sanchez. Back he comes with a pitch foul back. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. We told you that Tim has done the Ozzie Smith backflip. He can also walk around on his hands in the clubhouse, although the veterans have tried to discourage him from doing that. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed in the dirt. Sanchez has to throw to first, throws it in the dirt, and it's dug out by Posey. But boy, that's a tough play. First of all, Sanchez boxes one behind the plate and then throws one in the dirt for Posey. However, they do take care of Cruz one way or another.
A.J. Ellis.
Sanchez is a good hitter, but they tell me he needs a lot in developing defensively behind the plate. So 1 away. That is the second strikeout for Tim Lincecum, and the batter is A.J. Ellis. A.J. hitting .276, 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in, and takes ball 1. Ellis had a tough night last night, struck out his first 2 at-bats, then hit a bullet, and Marco Scudero went up the ladder to one-hand it and take a hit away from him. Next pitch in for a strike, 1-1 the count. So Lincecum has retired 7 in a row. Tim ready, and the 1-1 pitch on the way, just inside, ball 2. We mentioned it at the start of the game. If you look at Lincecum's lifetime record against the Dodgers, you figure, well, that's not much. He is 6-5. But all you have to do is look what happened to him last year. 2-1 pitch is taken for a strike. He went up against Clayton Kershaw 4 times last year. He lost all 4 times by the scores of 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and 1-0. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball very high and in. Fastball at 93. Now that's the kind of a pitch in the past when he was a Cy Young winner. It doesn't look like he's looking at the strike zone, but he would always find it. It's not happening to him, so he goes 3-2. Now the full count pitch is swung on and fouled away. So still 3-2 the count. Joe Blanton, the pitcher, waiting on deck. One away, bottom of the third, 2-0 Giants. Lincecum, despite being rather frail, a very good athlete. He was point guard on the basketball team, quarterback on the football team. He takes care of his hitter. And where in the world is Sanchez going? Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Sanchez was running to the Giant dugout, and that was only the second out. Take a look at this. Strike 3. See you later. I've had enough. Oh, I have to come back. And in a minute, an embarrassed Sanchez in the crouch and Joe Blanton at the plate. First pitch, fastball strike, and the count 0-1. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Giants, nothing across for the Dodgers. Lincecum has retired 8 in a row. He's low with a breaking ball, and the count 1-1 strike. Lincecum, believe it or not, in high school was not only the quarterback, he was also a cornerback defensively. I mean, he is not big even today. 1-1 pitch, good fastball at 92, and a 1-2 count. Lincecum, right foot on the rubber, hands at the belt. 1-2 pitch, fastball foul back. Blanton is hitting just under 100. Blanton does have 4 hits, 1 run batted in, and strikes out about half the time. 2-0 in favor of the Giants, bottom of the third. Dodgers blanked for 8 innings last night, finally scored with 2 out in the 9th. Pitch to Blanton is in the dirt, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. There are those who say that the reason Buster Posey is playing first base is not only to get a rest, but to get a rest because Lincecum bounces so many pitches that he just wears out his catcher. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's low, ball 3. Though he's bounced a few tonight, and Sanchez has had a box a couple. 3-2 the count. So Hector waiting on the 3-2 pitch to Blanton. Little nubber up along third. Lincecum picks it up and throws him out. Bang bang play at first. So Lincecum has retired 9 in a row. He has struck out 3, and at the end of 3 as he kids Sanchez 2-0 Giants. burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. By Dodge. Visit us at Dodge.com or see your local dealer today. And by Bank of America. Fourth inning, the Giants got 2 in the first if you weren't with us, and that's it. It's 2-0 San Francisco in the fourth inning. These two teams are dead even head-to-head. They played 10 games. They have split 5 apiece. They played 4 games here. They split 2 apiece. They played 6 games in San Francisco, and they split 6, 3 apiece. So they're about as even as you can get. The big difference in the won and loss record, the Dodgers have lost 1 more game, and that's the half-game difference. But there's an even bigger difference, and we pointed that out at the beginning of the game. What the Dodgers have done within the Western Division. The Dodgers within the West are 23-23. The Giants within the West are 25-17, 8 games above, and that poses a big problem for Don Mattingly. So here we go in the fourth inning. And a strike to the leadoff man, Hector Sanchez. Hector grounded into a double play and then embarrassed himself in the third inning, forgetting how many outs. Shattered bat, and staying with the ball is Blandon to throw him out. Boy, that was dangerous. A big sliver went by Blandon, and Joe somehow kept his concentration. Now let's see what's going on. The first base umpire, and that would be Chris Guccione, came in hollering something to the crew chief, Darrell Cousin, and apparently the ball might have hit the shin or foot of the hitter Sanchez. Let's see. Yeah, sure, it got him on the shin guard. The broken bat, Blanton threw his hands up in the air and then made the play, but it's ruled just a foul ball. So Sanchez coming back. I don't know why I thought of a story long time ago when Sanchez forgot how many outs there were. Dodgers had a very colorful catcher way back named Babe Phelps. Check swing. He's done anyway. So Sanchez strikes out, 1 away. And Babe Phelps came to spring training with the somewhat daffy Dodgers, and he was explaining with diagrams about the house that he had personally built that winter. And everybody gathered around and looked like a nice house, with the exception. One of the pitchers said, "Where are the bathrooms?" And Babe Phelps said, "I forgot to build a..." And the pitcher said, "And you're calling pitches all year for me, and you forgot to build a bathroom?" Well, that's worse than walking off the field on the second out. Here's Blanco. He struck out. Gregor 0 for 1. Hard ground ball by Ramirez. So Blanco comes up with a base hit. That's number 6 for the Giants, who lead 2-0. Of course, with Blanton, you expect a lot of contact around the plate because he throws strikes so much. When you throw strikes, naturally you're also going to be victimized as far as home runs are concerned. Blanton has allowed 26 home runs. Of course, that is not a strength of the Giants. Blanton working now on Brandon Crawford, who struck out in the second inning. Gregor Blanco has stolen 19 out of 22. Though Blanco even more successful stealing bases than Angel Pagan. It's a question, of course. You have the pitcher on deck, Tim Lincecum, and 1 out. That's a strike. 0-1. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Giants have left 3 in the first 3 innings, and the Dodgers 9 in a row have gone down. We'll watch Blanco for you. 0-2 the count to Crawford. Pitching him in on the hands. No balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Crawford. Giants lead 2-0. Tomorrow night, Matt Cain and Chris Capuano in the final game of the series. Brandon Crawford, who went to school at UCLA, and there's a throw that's beyond Loney, and Blanco's not going to stop at second. He is on his way to third and in there easily without a play. So Blandon worried so much about Blanco and throws one away to first. Loney unable to get to it as it bounced and then went over the body of the sliding Blanco. So the error by Joe Blandon puts a runner at third with 1 out. Two 2-0 Giants with a runner at third, 1 away. No balls and 2 strikes on Crawford. The infield is up. Oh, and 2. A little fly ball down the left field line. It will land, and Blanco will come in to score. So it's a very expensive throw over to first, and suddenly 3-0 in favor of San Francisco. So a no ball 2 strike count. Crawford just put the bat on the ball. Little fly ball single. Giants leading 3-0 on 7 hits, and we're in the 4th inning. Now here's Lincecum. Certainly they're looking bunt. He shows bunt. Ball 1. Lincecum has 5 sacrifices. Not much of a hitter at all. 3 hits. So you certainly expect him to try to get the bunt down. 1 ball and no strikes. Brandon Crawford over at first base does not have a good record. He's been caught 4 out of 5 times. Probably busted hit and run plays. There he goes. Full swing, foul ball. So they took the bunt off. They ran Crawford, and Lincecum swings and fouls it away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tim checking now with another Tim Flannery. Flannery, close pal, great coach for Bruce Bochy. Roberto Kelly over at first. He gets the bunt down. A.J. Ellis plenty of time, but the sacrifice advances Crawford and will bring up Angel Pagan. So the Giants 2 in the first, 1 in the 4th, leading 3-0. Pagan 2 for 2 tonight. He has 4 hits in the 2 games, 4 for 6, raises his average up to 287. Infield back to a normal depth. Pagan, when he had that squib single in the 3rd inning, remember we told you he gets a lot of infield singles. He has 22 infield hits. You subtract 22 hits and his batting average almost disappears. So speed is really a blessing, and it has paid off for Angel. 0-1. Ground ball to the right, and it's by the diving Kennedy. So that'll cash in Crawford, and going into second base and safely in there. Pagan's 3rd hit, and the Giants lead 4-0.
Batting next, second baseman Marcos Scuderoff.
So Angel Pagan comes up with his 3rd hit of the night, his 5th hit in the 2 games, 4 runs and 8 hits for the Giants, nothing across for the Dodgers. And the batter now will be Marcos Scutaro. Scudero hitting .285. He's 2 for 2, and that's ball one. With the Dodgers, no offense at all. 9 in a row been retired by Lincecum, who's feeling pretty happy right now, leading 4-0. Right. One thing that has plagued Lincecum and could be of some comfort to the Dodgers, he usually has one inning which really gets away from him. That's been part of the story of Tim Lincecum this year. That's a strike. 1-2. Scudero, a great acquisition for San Francisco. They got themselves a very solid Major League Baseball player. And call strike 3. Marco doesn't say anything, but I think he felt that was way inside. However, the Giants come up with a deuce, and at the end of 3.5, lead 4-0. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. Internet, TV, and home phone from Time Warner Cable. And by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer right now for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. Giants sitting on top of a 4-0 lead. Dodgers have been retired 9 in a row. So it's the second time around. Victorino, Kennedy, and Kemp. Shows bunt, takes a strike. You know, Lincecum in the third inning had a 3-ball count, and each time got away with it, which is a dangerous way to pitch. But that also happened last night with Bumgarner. Fly ball right into the glove of Angel Pagan. One away in the fourth inning. So adding 3 to Bumgarner last night, it means the Giant pitchers have had 11 3-ball counts on the hitters, and 11 times the hitter has been retired. You certainly expect with a 3-ball count that a couple of them would reach. No, indeed. So Bumgarner on the right turned in a gem, out pitching Kershaw, who as usual pitched exceptionally well. Kennedy grounded out first inning. Clayton along with Dave Hansen watching. Line drive, base hit into right field. Pence over to get it. And the crowd roars as the Dodgers come up with their first hit after Lincecum had retired 10 in a row. So with Kennedy aboard, that'll bring up Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp flied to right field in the first inning. He is a hungry hitter now. He is 0 for his last 20 at bats. So if Kemp doesn't hit, the car doesn't run. 1 out, 4th inning, 4-0 San Francisco. Ball 1. 4 runs, 8 hits for the Giants, no runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers, and we're in the 4th. Fooled on that pitch. 1-1 the count. Matt, as any hitter would, talking to himself, going after that. 1 ball and 1 strike. And ball 2. Just a high fastball. It really wasn't that close to Matt, but he instinctively shied away. Two and 1. And works it away. So here is another 3-ball count. Dodgers are 0 for 11 in the sense they've not been able to do anything. On deck, Andre Ethier. So 3-1 to Matt Kemp. Three and 2. This is a big pitch for Lincecum with Ethier waiting on deck. 3-2. We'll see about Kennedy, and Lincecum backs off the rubber. Basically, with Lincecum, fastball and a curve. He added a slider and a changeup a couple of years ago. He actually can throw a knuckleball, but he doesn't. Ground ball to third. Sandoval down to Scutaro, back to Posey, and it's a double play, despite the all-out effort of Adam Kennedy to break it up. So no runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. And at the end of 4-0 Giants. That was a 3-2 count when Matt Kemp grounded into the double play. So that means the Dodgers are 0 for 12 with hitters who had a 3-ball count, which is rather remarkable. So Messrs. Kemp and Loney at Hall struggling here, and we go to the 5th. Sandoval, Posey, and Pence. First ball swinging, and he connects. So Sandoval opens up with hit number 9 against Joe Blanton. The Giant attack is top heavy. Pagan has 3 hits. Scutaro has 2. Sandoval and Posey 1 each. So for Boshi, leading 4-0, and a leadoff man getting aboard. Timeout. A.J. Ellis going out to see if they can't figure out something here. Posey single a left. Last time up they walked Buster intentionally. Posey was an All-American shortstop, and his coach moved him behind the plate because they saw a natural leader and they wanted to get the most out of him. And boy, was that ever a beneficial move for all concerned. Down in the Dodger bullpen, left-hander Scott Elbert begins to loosen up. Scotty's been out with a bad elbow. That's a strike. 0-1 to Posey. Actually, when Posey was in college, he was also a pitcher. He closed 7 or 8 games, and he pitched in the College World Series after 8 innings of catching. Strike. Buster was a finance major in college. In fact, he briefly considered becoming a pediatrician if baseball didn't work out. He loves working with kids. Sees a strike, and down he goes. Posey unhappy with the senior umpire, Darrell Cousins, and we have 1 out, and the batter will be Hunter Pence. Darrell Cousins is in his 34th year as a big league umpire. He worked the World Series, better known as the Kirk Gibson World Series, in 1988. Went to El Camino Community College. Pence, ground ball, smothered by Cruz on his knees. After first, not in time. Nice play by Luis Cruz. So Pence goes 0 for 3, hitting into the force play, losing a base hit on this play by Luis. So with 2 out, you have Pence at first, and the batter is Hector Sanchez. Hunter Pence does not do a lot of running. Of course, one reason he's been struggling getting to first base, but he has stolen 5 out of 7 when they do turn him loose. And ball 1. Hector can swing the bat very well. And ball 2. Four runs, 9 hits for the Giants. Just 1 hit, a murmur of protest from the Dodgers. Shattered bat, ground ball slowly to the right side, and he'll get the 3rd out. So what's going on with the bats that Hector Sanchez has? There is no model because no bat survives more than 1 at bat. And at the end of 4 1/2, it's 4-0 San Francisco. Brought to you by the California Lottery's new Strike It Rich Scratchers. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 or older to play. Bottom of the fifth inning, 4-0 in favor of San Francisco. Andre Ethier, Hanley Ramirez, and James Loney against Tim Lincecum. Andre Ethier grounded to short, hitting .277. Little dribbler, he might have a hit. They're going to let it roll. It goes foul. Smart play by Pablo Sandoval to let the ball decide the issue. Heads up play by the Panda, and Ethier let it come back and try it again. Let it roll. And as soon as it goes off, make sure you sweep it away. Pablo, despite his size, we all know he's a good hitter, but he's also a very good defensive third baseman. Oh, and 1 to count to Andre Ethier. One ball and 1 strike. Andre, 12 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Off speed, tried to time it, came up empty. It came up there at 79. That's the biggest off speed pitch he has thrown so far tonight. Showing him a fastball at 93. 2-2 the count. Tried to come back with an off-speed pitch. 3-2 to Andre Ethier. So again, here's another 3-ball count. Dodgers are 0 for 12 with a 3-ball count on the hitter. Got him. Boy, that's amazing. I mean, if you watch a lot of games, when you see 3-ball counts on hitters, somebody either walks or gets a base hit. But the Dodgers are now 0 for 13 on 3-ball counts. So they are indeed laboring. 4 strikeouts for Lincecum. Here's Hanley Ramirez, popped up in the second inning. On deck, James Loney. And ball 1. Hard ground ball over third down the line. Ramirez on his way to second base. Blanco is up with the ball and gets it back in. So the Dodgers get an extra base hit and finally get a man to second base. But they're down 4-0 here in the fifth. Off speed pitch. Ramirez just stayed on it and then pulled it and picks up the extra base hit. For Hanley, that would be his 25th double. He has 3 triples and he has 19 home runs. So that brings up Loney with a runner at second, 1 out. Loney grounded out to the right side in the second inning. Drops that big overhand curveball, but he misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Loney hitting .255, 4 home runs, 33 runs batted in. pulled on the ground. Fair ball. Posey to the bag for the second out, and Ramirez advances to third. Dodgers finally get a runner to third after finally getting a runner to second. Last night they struggled. They finally got a runner to third in the second inning and again in the sixth. And finally broke through with the home run by Ramirez in the ninth. Cruz struck out in the third inning, so 2 down. Now remember, Tim Lincecum has 14 wild pitches. And fouled away. No play. Sanchez over to take a look. So 14 wild pitches. And a catcher really learning the trade behind the plate. So Ramirez had best be ready. 0-1. Hard ground ball, but right at Sandoval. The throw's on the money, and the Dodgers leave Ramirez at third. So at the end of 5, Giants 4, Dodgers nothing. A very talented left-hander made his debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers. His name was Rick Honeycutt. Honeycutt broke in with the Dodgers with a 7-inning shutout and pitched 21 years in the major leagues. He wound up winning 109 games, and he was on 2 division championship teams with the Dodgers in '83 and '85. And with that, back we go to the game. One ball and no strikes, they count to Gregor Blanco, who has struck out, singled, scored a run. It was Blanco's presence at first, remember. Blanton tried to throw over there and threw it away, and that led to a run. Strike. 1-1 the count. Blanco has 5 bunt hits this year, so you have to shorten up the corners. Little foul. 1-2. Blanco hitting just .235, and it's really been a struggle for him of late. 1-2. Down he goes. So we have 1 away, and Brandon Crawford coming up. A reminder, Monday, September 3rd, that's Labor Day, and it's the Dodgers and the Padres at 5:10. You can enjoy $1 Dodger dogs, compliments of Farmer John. And for tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Brandon Crawford struck out, had a clutch single in the 4th inning to drive in a run. Former Bruin, 0-1 the count to Brandon. Crawford is developing, and that's always a good sign, but when you hear it about a ball player, you really understand. They expected good things from him, and Brandon hitting .247, slowly becoming a factor. He was signed out of UCLA 4 years ago. Not a power hitter at all. Last year he had 3 home runs. This year he has 4 and hits one down the line. Victorino picks it off. So 2 down here in the 6th inning, and the batter is Tim Lincecum. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's going to go slicing into the gap. Kemp over to cut it off, and Lincecum will hold on with a long single. For Lincecum, that is his 4th hit of the year, and that'll bring up Angel Pagan. Blanton has allowed 10 hits and 4 runs. Pagan single to center, single diving to first base under the tag by Loney, single to center again, and Don Mattingly apparently bringing a hook. Since Blanton is due to bat second in the 6th inning, usually when the manager talks to the plate umpire, it's a double switch. Now we know Scott Elbert has been down in the pen, and Elbert will be brought in. Doesn't look like we see any other move. We'll wait and see, and we'll be right back. Is also his responsibility, and Joe made 80 pitches. So he came into the game 0-2 as a Dodger and 8-9 overall. Scott Elbert will be testing the elbow after being laid off. Scotty doing a great job in relief. Ball 1. Scott Elbert from Joplin, Missouri. 1 ball, no strikes. Scott is 27, 6'1", about 215. Works low, so 2 balls and no strikes to Angel Pagan. Pagan, hitting left-handed against Blanton, was 3 for 3. Now he turns around. In the Giant lineup tonight, they have 3 switch hitters and 3 left-hand batters. Fastball 3-0. Dodgers have 1 switch hitter and 3 left-hand hitters. 2 out. Lincecum at first. 3-0 to Pagan. Down the pipe. 3-1. Marco Scutaro waiting on deck. Giants scored 2 in the first and then added 2 more in the fourth. They've had at least 1 hit in every inning but the second when they were retired in order. 3-1. And a mile-high pop fly. Adam Kennedy. And that'll be that. So no runs, a hit, a man left. And at the end of 5 1/2, Giants 4, Dodgers nothing. By your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a luxurious Lexus today. Visit Lexus.com. And by Sports Authority, the official sporting goods retailer of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Giants lead the Dodgers 4-0, bottom of the 6th inning. A.J. Ellis, then Juan Rivera taking over for James Loney, and then Shane Victorino. One of the more frustrating things for the Dodgers, the more and the deeper you get into it, we've told you that in this series, the Dodgers are 0 for 13, even though the hitter has had a 3-ball count. Tonight, the Dodgers are 0 for 5 with 3-ball counts against Lincecum. But here's the really frustrating thing. 5 of them, all 5, went down on the 3-2 pitch, unable to do anything with the 3-1 pitch. All right. This year, what have the other batters in the league to do against Lincecum when the count is 3-1? Would you believe the other hitters are 10 for 10 against him? They're batting 1,000 on the 3-1 count. So for the Dodgers, they're about ready to break their bats, trying to get something started here with A.J. Ellis. 2-1. A.J. hitting .275, struck out in the 3rd inning. 4 runs, 10 hits for the Giants. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Single by Kennedy and a double by Ramirez. 3-1. And there's ball 4. Boy, that has certainly been a missing ingredient. Remember last night, you had 24 strikeouts combined and no walks. There was 1 hit batter. So for Lincecum, he gets into the 6th inning before he gives up a walk. Blanton, while he was in there, walked 2, one of them intentionally. So here's Rivera. Juan Rivera against Tim Lincecum is hitting .412, 7 for 17. Juan gets into the game on that double switch. Ball 1. Lincecum, with his 14 wild pitches and the fact that he has been somewhat wild, he has only hit 3 batters. One ball and no strikes. And misses again. So he fell behind and walked Ellis. Now he falls behind to Rivera. 2 balls and no strikes. Pitch count ready for number 80, which is the number of pitches Joe Blanton made before they hooked him after 5 2/3 innings. 2-0 to Rivera. And line drive, base hit to left field, and the Dodgers now have first and second, nobody out. And remember, we mentioned earlier that Lincecum this year has been plagued by one inning that just seems to blow up in his face. And Dave Righetti is going out to try and make sure it doesn't happen tonight. So Ellis walks, Rivera singles, and the Dodgers are in business now for Victorino, Kennedy, and Kemp. So Dave Righetti, the seasoned and well-respected pitching coach of the Giants, pitched a no-hitter for the Yankees. Talking to the battery. They're in agreement. And waiting is Victorino. Shane Victorino struck out, fly to center, 0 for 2. Came into the game hitting .220 against Lincecum, so he's given up some more points. He does have a home run against Lincecum. Sandoval is in on the grass looking bunt. And a strike. Breaking ball. Victorino, I think, thought that was too low. 0-1. Shane doesn't say anything. Now he does. Body language, take a little walk. No balls, 1 strike. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Rounding third is Ellis. Throw to the plate is blocked and out. Sanchez threw a block at the plate, and there was no place for Ellis to go. One catcher going into the other. That was a good play by Hector, and for Ellis, he had nowhere to go. There was no home plate. There's a good strong throw by Angel Pagan, and now watch. There's the block. Just no way, and Hector holds on to the ball. So Victorino gets a base hit, but loses a possible run batted in. Play goes 8-2. Stopping at second was Rivera. So first and second, 1 out. Good play by Angel Pagan. And the batter now, Adam Kennedy. Kennedy is grounded out, single to right, 1 for 2. Ball 1. Giants have been playing very good defensive ball ever since the All-Star game. People don't usually talk about defense. They talk about pitching, hitting, power. But they've done very well. Blocked by Sanchez. 2-0 the count. Remember, we told you if you're catching Lincecum this year, you're going to get beaten up. There were times earlier this year, I understand, he was bouncing sliders on the grass out in front of home plate. And Buster Posey took a bit of a beating, so now he plays first base when Lincecum is pitching. 2-0. And that's going to go into right field, base hit. Pence charges. They will hold Rivera. And the bases are loaded for, of all people, Matt Kemp. Well, we've been talking about the fact that all year Lincecum has been plagued with one inning that just explodes on him. And he is right on the edge of that, of course, with the hungriest Dodger hitter. Kemp is 0 for his last 21 at-bats, and he represents the potential tying run. In case you wonder, he's had 6 grand slams, most recently last year against Cincinnati. Off speed for a strike. 0-1. Mad fly to right, grounded into the double play. Dodgers with Rivera, Victorino, and Kennedy. High fly ball to right field. Pence gone back to the track. Hauls it in. Dodgers move up. Get a run. Well, Kemp a little frustrated, but he's happy with the fly ball. So scoring is Rivera. Taking third is Victorino. 4-1 Giants. And the batter will be Andre Ethier. Jose Mojarras, a left-hander throwing in the Giant bullpen, and that's going to be it. Lincecum coming out, allowing 1 run. 2 men on the base path's his responsibility, so he can't lose. He can only win or have nothing to do with it, and we'll be back. Ball to the left hand of Jose Mojarras, who's from Caracas, Venezuela. And remember the point that we made at the start of the game about how they bring left-handers in against Ethier when he represents the possible tying run? Well, it's happened again. So Ethier facing Mojarras, and ball 1. This is the 24th time this year that a left-hander has been called in specifically with the tying run at the plate, meaning Ethier. 2 out, trying to hold on to a lead. Since the 4th of June, under those circumstances, Ethier is just 2 for 13. And pops it foul out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Andre on the spot. For the year, He is 5 for 21 under these circumstances, hitting .238. He has 3 runs batted in as he faces some of the top left-hand relievers in the game. 1-1. Adam Kennedy at first, Victorino at third, 2 out, 4-1 Giants. 2-1. Maharis is an even 6, a very big 230 pounds. He'll be 28 in October. Originally signed out of Venezuela 10 years ago by the Minnesota Twins. They tell me he was born in the shantytown slums of Caracas. 2-1. And that's in there at the knees, 2-2. So the deuces are very wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, and one of the 2 outs, a possible run at the plate. Victorino at third, Kennedy at first. Ethier waiting 2-2. Got him. So that's what they do. They bring in the best they have, and they usually snuff out Ethier. So 1 run, 3 hits with an out at the plate, and at the end of 6, 4-1 Giants. To you by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across the country. And by Farmer John, taste the local flavor. We're going to the 7th inning. The Giants scored 2 in the first, added 2 more in the 4th at the expense of Joe Blanton. Scott Elbert came in to get an out, getting Pagan. And then the Dodgers try to rally back, have a run snuffed out of the plate, and wind up with 1. So it's 4-1 Giants, 7th inning. Ground ball to short. Ramirez takes care of a hustling Scutero. 1 down, and Pablo Sandoval coming up.
Now batting third baseman number 48, Pablo Sandoval.
Don't forget tomorrow night, final game of the 3-game series. Matt Cain, he a perfect game with a record of 12-5, going up against Chris Capuano with a record of 11-8. So Matt making his own mental notes and yawns a bit, and we'll see him tomorrow. One ball and no strikes to Pablo Sandoval. He has walked, flied to center, single to center, hitting .297, and being a switch hitter, is now batting right-handed. Foul ball. He taught himself, we mentioned it last night. He taught himself to be ambidextrous. He can swing the bat from both sides, and because he wanted to be a catcher, he taught himself to throw right-handed, and they tell me he can throw right-handed. One ball, one strike. There is no such thing as a strike zone with Pablo Sandoval. Typically, when he got his base hit in the 5th inning, it was on the first pitch. Remember, he rarely gets called out on strikes. And fouled away. Sandoval started to teach himself to throw right-handed at the tender age of 9. From Venezuela. His dad is in management for the 2nd largest food producer in Venezuela. 2-2. His mom has a small electronics company. They're both well educated. His oldest brother's a police officer. The second oldest is a criminal attorney. His other brother, Michael, got as far as AA before he hurt his arm. Fastball at 94 just missed. 3-2 to Pablo. Now Elbert is due to bat second when the Dodgers hit in the 7th, so you figure with Brandon League throwing in the pen, this will be his last inning. And as a line drive, and Kemp is at the other end of it. Sandoval hits it right on the screws, but right at Matt. 2 down, and Posey coming up. Say a reminder, Hello Kitty night at Dodger Stadium. That's backed by popular demand. Wednesday, September the 5th. Fans with the first 50,000 tickets at the game will receive their very own Hello Kitty tote bag. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Well, we talk about this being the last inning for Elbert. That was the last batter. They're not going to let Buster Posey hit against the left-hander. Brandon League has been throwing, and they're bringing him in. So out goes Scotty, in comes Brandon. We'll be right back. Pitches and retired 3 batters, and now they want the right-hander League to pitch to Buster Posey. So Brandon League coming out of the Dodger bullpen. When the Dodgers hit, they've made yet another double switch. By making the switch, they bring in Mark Ellis at the same time as Brandon League. If you are keeping score, put League in Kennedy's spot. Put Ellis in Loney's spot, replacing Elbert. So when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 7th, they'll have Ramirez, Ellis, and Cruz. But right now they've got to get by Posey. Buster, single a left, walked intentionally, struck out. Way out in front, 0-1. Posey went 0 for 4 last night. He had had at least one hit in 7 straight games against the Dodgers, but he does have a base hit tonight. It drove in 2 runs. Little roller, Hanley in the dirt. Nice pick by Rivera. So Lee comes in, gets an out, and we're heading for the bottom of the 7th, 4-1 Giants. For the Giants, and Brandon Belt is now at first base, replacing Buster Posey. So both teams strengthening the defense, and we'll see how it comes out. 4-1 Giants, bottom of the 7th inning, with Ramirez, Ellis, and Cruz in that order.
Now pitching for the Giants, number 46,
Santiago Casilla will be facing Hanley Ramirez, who has popped up and doubled the left. I would think Casilla would go in Posey's spot, and then Brandon Belt would bat 9th. And ball 1. Casilla throws very hard, but he has a problem. He has a problem with blisters. And of course, when you throw very hard, the friction, skin against the ball, some fellas have a terrible time with it. In there, 1-1. Casilla checks in at about 190 pounds. 32 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Giant bullpen has been pretty shaky. Ground ball at the other end. Brandon Crawford. Belt makes a nice play. One down.
Batting second baseman, number 14.
Casilla, typical of many young players in the Dominican, they want to appear younger than they really are. And he's facing Mark Ellis. What he did, he got a birth certificate of a buddy and used his name as well. Jairo Garcia, who was about 2 years, 10 months younger than Santiago. But you can understand the poor kids trying to do anything to get off the island, get a job. So he was the player to be named later. And the true name, Santiago Casilla. Casilla has blown 6 saves, but he has also have saved 24. There's another broken bat. Sandoval at the other end of it. So Ellis breaks a bat, taps out. 2 out in the 7th, and Luis Cruz coming up. By the way, on Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead night, a huge crowd, 56,000, the 10th sellout of the year. And if you can, hope you'll be out here tomorrow night. That ought to be another good one. Matt Cain and Chris Capuano. Way to go, Fernando. Or Freddie, as everybody called him when he was in uniform. Ball 1. Cruz struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Fouled away. Cruz batting .290. 4 home runs. 25 runs batted in. Fastball missed. Casilla is from the same town in the Dominican Republic as his former teammate Juan Uribe. In fact, Santiago says he remembers going to Uribe's house as a child and getting baseball socks, which Uribe gave him. And as we mentioned, Casilla is so very poor, his first glove was homemade. It was thick cardboard into which he cut 3 holes for his ring, middle, and index fingers. He got his first real glove from a Uribe. It was a giant shortstop, Jose Uribe, Juan's uncle. And as far as a bat, they whittled some wood. So there is a strong connection of friendship between the two, Juan Uribe and Santiago Casilla, who is, by the way, the 7th of 12 children. 2-2. Fastball lifted. They're looking for Pence. There he is. So the Dodgers go very quietly in the 7th inning, and at the end of 7, 4-1 Giants. Should be a dandy with Matt Cain going up against Chris Capuano. Hope you'll be out here with us. If not, it'll be right here on KCAL 9. Thursday is an open date, and then the weekend, the Miami Marlins coming in. All 3 games on Prime. The Marlins in last place in the East, but they can still be a headache. And, of course, it'll be kind of a strange atmosphere for Hanley Ramirez to welcome his old club. Talking about a strange atmosphere, how about this one? Here's Hunter Pence, right? Wearing a Giant uniform, waiting at the plate, hitting .260. In Philadelphia, tonight is Hunter Pence bobblehead night. They made all the bobbleheads in advance. He was traded to the Giants. So it's Hunter Pence bobblehead night. Tonight, of course, Fernando here in the ballpark. 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. If I remember correctly, I think the Giants had a Frank Sinatra bobblehead night. I think. Yeah. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Randy Choate begins to warm up. Popped in the air. Ellis and Rivera. Ellis. So Hunter Pence, bobblehead or no, goes 0 for 4 and goes 0 for 8 in the 2 games. So Choate getting ready, and Hector Sanchez hit into a double play, struck out, grounded out, broke 2 bats, hitting .270. Good fastball down and away at 95. 0-1 to Hector. Hitting .280 from this side of the plate. Oh, and 2. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 8th inning, they'll have A.J. Ellis, Juan Rivera, and Shane Victorino. Hitting 4th would be Brandon League, and of course they would hit for him. 0-2. Got him. Sanchez goes 0 for 4. The Giants had a base hit by Lincecum in the 6th inning. Otherwise, they have been very quiet, scoring 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 4th. The League now working on Gregor Blanco. Blanco struck out, singled, scored a run, struck out last time up. Ball 1. Blanco singled in the 4th inning. Blanton tried to pick him off, or at least throw over there, threw it away. Blanco wound up at 3rd and then rode home on a single by Crawford. Fouled away. So Brandon League out of Sacramento and Honolulu. He lives in Hawaii now. He grew up there. He went to high school at St. Louis High School in Honolulu on the island of Oahu. 1-1. Blanco could use that base hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. Over his last 25 games, he's hit about 130. Waiting on deck, Brandon Crawford. Time. League, typical big league pitcher, 6'3", about 195. 29 years old. Where Shane Victorino says he didn't involve in surfing much, League grew up surfing in Hawaii. 2-2. comebacker. All right, nice inning for Lee. And we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. Giants 4, Dodgers 1.
All right, fans, it's time to name your tune.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Giants lead the Dodgers 4-1. Meanwhile, Arizona Diamondbacks are all wrapped up with the number 5. When the day began, Arizona had won 5 and lost 5 in the last 10. They began the day 5 games behind the Giants, and they're in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 5-5 tie with the Marlins. D-backs had a 5-0 first inning lead, let it get away, and they will be playing Miami a doubleheader tomorrow. Wow. Santiago Casilla. 1-1. Slider, ball 2. 2-1. AJ hitting .275. Struck out, walked, and was cut down at the plate on the strong throw by Angel Pagan. A one-hopper knocked down by Scutaro, 1 away. That'll bring up Juan Rivera. A reminder, you can subscribe to MLB.tv today. Take advantage of new low pricing. See every remaining Dodger out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Rivera came into the game in a double switch and had a base hit to left field. That was against Tim Lincecum. Off speed for a strike. Good change. 0-1. Casilla basically fastball and a curve, slider and a change. He's also working on a splitter. And a fly ball to shallow left field. Here comes Blanco. 2 out here in the 8th inning. Giants, should they win tonight, will then have a game and a half lead over the Dodgers. Their biggest lead this year while they're in first place, 3 games. The Dodgers, while they've been at first place, their biggest lead, 1 game. For Matt Kemp and company, the Dodgers down to the 20-game mark as far as home games. Ted Lilly, they're hoping, will be able to come back and pitch in September. He's visiting with Clayton Kershaw. In talking about Ted before the game, Don said, we hope he'll be back. He threw a pen today, and we're hoping he could pitch out of the bullpen in September. Fly ball. Blanco again right there. So 3 quick outs. And at the end of 8, Giants 4, Dodgers 1. Two more in the 4th. Dodgers finally got 1 run after having 1 cut down at the plate in the 6th inning, and that's it. So Randy Choate becomes the 4th Dodger pitcher. Joe Blanton, then Scott Elbert, followed by Brandon League, and now Randy. The Giants have a string of left-handers at the bottom of the lineup, and Brandon Crawford will lead it off. Then Brandon Belt, and then you go to the top, Angel Pagan, the switch hitter. Crawford has struck out, single to drive in a run, fly to left, 1-4-3. Crawford hitting .246. 4 home runs, 39 runs batted in. And ball 1. Choate, no record in his 58th game all told, and 14th as a Dodger. 2-0. Brandon Crawford facing Randy Choate. Randy's out of San Antonio, Texas. Originally signed by the Yankees out of Florida State University. Crowding the hitter with that sidearm pitch inside. 3-0 the count. And the same spot on all 4 pitches, and Crawford walks. So he kept trying to hit that inside corner and couldn't do it. And now here's Belt, who took over at first base for Buster Posey. While Posey was in there, he was 1 for 3 plus an intentional walk. So Belt hitting .264, 4 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Brandon Belt, big boy out of Nacogdoches in Texas, His father's a geometry teacher, and he lives in a house that his father built. And inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Jamie Wright now gets up in the Dodger bullpen, and he'll begin to loosen up. Belt with 38 runs batted in. Went to school at San Jacinto College and then transferred to the University of Texas. Same 2 schools Roger Clemens attended. Again on the inside, but he finally gets the corner, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Brandon Belt, when he was at the university, helped propel Texas to the College World Series 3 years ago. They lost the championship game to LSU. He was going to be a pitcher. One ball, 1 strike. A little nubber back to choke. Play at second in time. So Belt, a comebacker in a force play with 1 out. That will bring up Angel Pagan. So Belt at first. Pagan 3 for 4. Single to center. Hit a ground ball to Loney and escaped the tag. Single to center for his 3rd hit. And last time up, popped up against Scott Elbert. So let's see, with Jamie Wright in the pen, do they want to turn Pagan around and make him bat left-handed? That looks to be the deal. Jamie's getting ready to come in, and we'll be back. Blanton, Elbert, League, Choate, and now Jamie. The right, with 1 out, 1 on, has Pagan and Scutero in his way. Pagan 3 for 4. By bringing in the right-hander, they turn the switch hitter around to bat left-handed. Pagan was hitting .300 right-handed and picked up a couple of hits. Left-handed, he's hitting .275. In power, he has 7 home runs, 4 hit right-handed. So you have Brandon Belt at first, 1 out, 9th inning, 4-1 Giants. Brandon Belt is a very successful base stealer. The big first baseman has stolen 9 out of 10. 1 ball and no strikes. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th inning, they'll start with a pinch hitter because Jamie Wright is be due to lead off. Then Kemp and Ethier. Down in the Giant bullpen, the left-hander Jeremy Affeldt and the right-hander Sergio Romo. Whoa, what a swing. He would let out on that one. 1-1. Pagan checking with Tim Flannery. Now Roberto Kelly comes over to say something to Belt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball dropped by Rivera. Giants 2 in the first, 2 in the fourth. Dodgers 1 in the 6th. And now the 9th. Just off the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike to Angel Pagan. Pagan scored twice last night, scored once tonight. So in the month of August, Angel Pagan has scored 20 runs. A leadoff man really doing his job. 2-1. Fouled away down the line, out of play. 2-2. Waiting in the hold, as they used to say, as if it were a ship. You talk about the man on deck, and then the man in the dugout is in the hold. When you were a kid, you'd hear that and you'd think they were saying in the hole, but it's HOLD. Big man in the hold, Pablo Sandoval. 2-2 to count. We're watching Belt. There he goes. And a ground ball to Rivera, but with the runner going, he can only step on the bag. So Belt takes second on the ground ball to first. And the batter now is Marco Scutaro. Scutaro is 2 for 4. Singled to set up a run in the first inning and singled again in the third. Since then, struck out, grounded out, hitting .284. This is the 11th meeting of the year between the two teams. Number 12 tomorrow, and with 6 left, 3 in San Francisco and 3 here. The 3 in San Francisco on the weekend of September 7, 8, and 9. And the last 3, Bruce Bochy brings his club down here to Mattingly Company on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of October, the final 3 games of the year. And from the looks of things, they might very well go right down to the wire. That's in for a strike. 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes, which makes Scutaro very, very dangerous off the plate. We tell you why. When he's behind in the count, he's had 20 runs batted in. He's had 41 hits when he's behind in the count. He's had 52 hits when he's had 2 strikes. So it's a 1-2 count. Not this time. Foul tipped and caught, and the inning is over. So here come the Dodgers. That would mean a hitter for Wright, then Kemp and Ethier. Bottom of the 9th, 4-1 Giants. Arias, who started last night at short and finished up at third, comes into the game now to finish up at third for Pablo Sandoval. And Sergio Romo comes back in again. Romo, who is not a big man at all, and when you look at him, you realize that first glance. Sergio has to be a little bit weary by now. He's been in 48 games. He was in last night's game. Last night he gave up the home run to Hanley Ramirez. And now he will face Juan Uribe batting the ninth inning for Jamie Wright. So Uribe, Kemp, and Ethier in that order. By the way, Adam Wainwright continued his comeback tonight. He missed all of last year. He beat Houston 7-0. He started 14 games in his career against the Astros, and his record is 12-1 against them. So the general, as we used to call him, is back. 0-1 the count to Uribe, hitting 184. Slider, which is what you get most of the time from Romo. It's a shame the managers don't have a sense of theater. I mean, we just told you all about Santiago Castillo and the Juan Uribe treatment. Wouldn't it have been nicer if they went head to head? No. Romo. Slider. Last night he came in and threw one slider after another, and finally threw a fastball, and Mark Ellis was frozen at the plate. You get in the habit, all you do is look for slider. Well, Mark watching him right now. 1-2. Tried to throw a slider or a slow breaking ball, and he almost hit him. Giants, of course, without their #1 closer, Brian Wilson, who's not going to play, and they hope he'll come back next year. Slider. So Uribe chasing the slider away. Down he goes. Romo chalks one up. He struck out Uribe last night. So with one out, the batter now is Matt Kemp. Kemp, who is really fighting it, was 0 for 19 coming up. He was 0 for 21 when he came up with the bases loaded in the 6th inning, representing the tying run. The crowd went wild. Matt hit a fly ball deep enough to right field to get an RBI to account for the only Dodger run. Ball 1. So it's been Lincecum, Maharis, Castillo, and Romo. For Tim Lincecum, his lifetime record against the Dodgers, should he win, would be 7-5. Fastball in there. 1-1. Romo 5'11", started the year at 185, but you look at those bony shoulders and you figure he's really lost some weight. I would guess he might not even be 175. Fastball. So after a while, I'm sure you think, well, I'm going to get a slider, followed by a slider, followed by a slider, and instead, Romo now with 2 fastballs as a 1-2 count. The boy from Brawley. Fastball, just to show it. 2-2 to Matt Kemp. Matt flied to right, hit into a double play, fly deep to right. Andre Ethier on deck. Ethier had a shot after Kemp got the RBI, but Andre had to face the left-hander Maharis, who struck him out. 2-2. Ball 3. Three and 2 to Matt Kemp. The dreaded 3-ball count for the Dodger hitters, as we've talked about. Fastball. Still 3 and 2. I forget now, but I think it was like 0 for 13 with a 3-ball count on a Dodger hitter. That's including last night and tonight. So another 3-ball count. Out of that, all of that, Dodgers have gotten 1 walk. Fastball whacked to left field for a base hit. So Matt Kemp comes up with a base hit to break the drought. He was 0 for 21, now 1 for 22. And you know what's going to happen. Sure, Jeremy Affeld's been in the bullpen, and once again they will bring in a left-hander, and he'll be facing Andre Ethier. We'll be right back. He couldn't see him, and then Affeld sat down and Javi comes in. He was brought in last night specifically to pitch to Ethier with 2 out and got him on a ground ball. We mentioned at the very start of the game how the best left-handed relievers always are brought in to face Andre Ethier. This will be the 25th time that a left-hander has been brought in a critical spot. Andre last night grounded out 1 for 8 against Lopez, who, by the way, since Lopez came to the Giants, he's the toughest left-hand pitcher against left-hand hitters. Left-hand batters are hitting 146 against Javier Lopez. Lopez is from Puerto Rico. Matt Kemp at first. Belt's not going to hold him. Snakes that fastball for a strike. Andre hitting .276, 12 home runs, 69 runs batted in. So it's been Lincecum, Mojares, Casilla, Romo, and now Lopez. Oh, and 2. Lopez, pretty good guy to bring in a pressure spot. He has a degree in psychology. His wife has her doctorate in psychology. He went to school at the University of Virginia. She picked up her PhD at the University of Tennessee. Submarine sinker. 1 and 2. Boy, if you're Ethier, you've seen every kind of delivery by a left-hander. Halffeld's back up again, joined by right-hander Clay Hensley and Hanley Ramirez waiting on deck. 1 and 2. Big sweeper. 2 and 2. Basically, with Lopez, a two-seam fastball, changeup, and that big breaking ball. Javier, 35 years old, originally signed by the Diamondbacks. Little roller. Scutaro will get the front man, and they will get the runner for the double play to end the game. So Andre Ethier hits into the double play. 4-6-3 for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit, and that thud you hear as the Dodgers fall a game and a half back of San Francisco. Giants have now won 6 of the 11 meetings. They have won 4 of the 7 here, and they won 2 of the 4 up north. Tomorrow night, the final game after we celebrated Fernando Valenzuela and Don Newcomb. Tim Lincecum comes in and gets himself a victory to be 7-13. We had a sellout crowd, and tomorrow evening Matt Cain, and he'll go up against Chris Capuano. That'll do it for us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, we wish you all a very pleasant good evening.